minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you were in the live chat, we do that. Ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forward to us by the platforms we're utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. So tonight, Ernie's going to make his debut as the host. So I'm going to turn it over to the host of the show, Ernie Beware.
Thank you, Lori. And how's everybody doing in chat? It's a pleasure to see y'all. I'm blessed that God has provided us a platform to be able to speak to you and be able to expose those who are in the background committing evil acts for our demise. And we'll hope to be able to uplift you and provide you with some knowledge tonight to be able to take with you throughout the last days that we're going to be experiencing here. And we are experiencing some of it right now. I know we are experiencing a lot of news information regarding the Queen and some of the other things that we have been going through, but I believe it is time for us to take a step back or do a Jen Psaki, circle back, and take a look about some of the people behind the scenes that is working for our demise. And One of those people is Yuval Noah Harari. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen him or heard him or maybe even read some of his books, but I'm here to show you there's a lot deeper information that Yuval has been going through behind the scenes, who he works with, who he's associated with, and some things may be eye-opening to you. Some people may not be surprised, but we're going to take a deep dive into getting to know him a little bit better, because I believe this is the time that we get to know him. All right.
Deep dive into Harari.
Yes. So we're going to take a quick look into his background and see where he came from, his upbringing, and we'll move on from there. Or you can go ahead and proceed with the first slide. Thank you. Yuval Noah Harari is an Israeli public intellectual, historian, and professor in the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Keep that in mind. He is the author of the popular science bestseller *Sapiens: A Brief History of Mankind*, *Homo Deus: A Brief History of Tomorrow*, and 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. His writings examine free will, consciousness, intelligence, happiness, and suffering. So, Lori, just based off of that first paragraph, what do you think free will, consciousness, intelligence, happiness, and suffering has to do with?
To me, he looks like a very benign person who wants to do what's best for humanity.
Exactly. And those key terms, free will, consciousness, intelligence, happiness, and suffering, all relate to the New Age movement.
Yeah.
In the second paragraph on his Wikipedia, Harari writes about cognitive revolution occurring roughly 70,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens supplanted the rival Neanderthals and other species of the genus Homo, developed language skills and structured societies, and ascended as apex predators, aided by the agricultural revolution and accelerated by the scientific revolution, which has allowed humans to approach near mastery over their environment. Now, we obviously know from a biblical perspective, none of this is true. Okay. When we're looking at the scientific revolution, that's when man learned all the things to create fire, make weapons, utilize makeup. We can find that in the book of Enoch. As far as develop language skills and structured societies and supplanting the Neanderthals, we were created in God's image. There was Adam and there was Eve. Eve became a woman out of the rib of Adam, and they were told to multiply. So ascending at apex predators, there was no ascension there. God actually created us to have dominion over the beasts of the earth, the fowl in the air, and the food of the land. His books also examine the possible consequences of futuristic biotechnological world in which intelligent biological organisms are surpassed by their own creations. He has said Homo sapiens as we know them will disappear in a century or so. What are we experiencing today?
So basically what he's saying is that we're going to somehow evolve.
Exactly.
Okay, because so he's an evolutionist. He believes in evolution. He doesn't believe in the divine creation, and he's saying that through technology we're going to evolve or naturally evolve.
Through technology. As we go on and proceed in the broadcast, you will hear that artificial intelligence will enable us to become gods. And by becoming gods, we're replacing the Most High. Obviously, we know that is not true.
Right.
Wow. Now, when we look at his early life and his education, he was born and raised in Kiryat Ata, Israel. It's another clue. One of the three children born to Shlomo and Perina Harari. His family was secular Jewish, with roots in Lebanon and Eastern Europe. Now, we know these are viewed as the non-real Jews, the synagogue of Satan, and according to many. But
So
proceeding on.
He would be considered an Ashkenazi or a Khazarian?
Exactly. He completed his doctorate of philosophy degree at Jesus College, Oxford in 2002. Interesting, right?
There's an oxymoron if you're a Jew. Okay.
Right. And it was under the supervision of Stephen J. Gunn. From 2003 to 2005, he pursued postdoctoral studies in history at Yad Hanadi Fellow. Now, I want to stop right there and talk about Yad Hanadi Fellow. Or you can go to that page for me, please.
Yep. And let's pull it up.
Now, that name struck a chord in me because we know he's an atheist. We know he believes in evolution. We know he believes in transhumanism. Why is he attending Jewish institutions? Well, if you scroll down, Lori, we'll find out about Yad Hanadi. Yad Hanadi memorializes Baron Edmund James the Rothschild and continues the spirit and legacy of the Rothschild family. The foundation was established in its current form in 1958. Its first chairperson was Dorothy the Rothschild, who served in position until 1988. In 1989, Lord Rothschild Jacob was appointed chair. In 2018, the Honorable Hannah Rothschild assumed the position of chair, and Lord Rothschild became Yad Hanadi's president. Ariel Weiss.
Rothschilds does it take to run a school?
As many it takes to run the world, right?
Phew. Okay. How many Rothschilds can you cram into one place?
A lot. Now,
which is interesting because this is a Hebrew school, right?
It is. It definitely is. And you know, if you look into the history of the Rothschilds, they studied Jewish mysticism.
Oh yeah.
And the arts thereof. So this is not surprising they have a hand in this. Now, looking at the past projects of this organization, it was instrumental in the construction of Knesset building and the Supreme Court of Israel and the establishment of Israeli educational television, the Open University, the Center for Educational Theology, Center for Science Education, MANOF Youth Village, the Jerusalem Music Center, and the Institute of Advanced Studies. So they are engulfed in not only the creation of Israel, but for the sustainability of Israel through education, through science, through math, through everything that somebody needs to proceed on in their careers, but according to their traditions and beliefs.
So basically, what they've done is they've injected themselves into the academia of Israel. Taken the best of the best students, the cream of the crop in their population, and taught them this mysticism and sent them out into the world.
Exactly.
Ooh.
So just by these ties, you all know Harari being with the Rothschild family, we know he's up to no good.
Right. Guilty by association.
Exactly. Now, the question remains, what is his agenda? Now, Lori and I actually just pulled up some quotes and a few other things that he's involved with. First of which is the World Economic Forum. He is the right-hand man of Mr. Klaus Schwab himself.
He is. Oops, I didn't have that one up. Let's pull them up. Okay, here we go. And you pull this down and pull this one up. Here it is with the World Economic Forum. This is his bio page.
Yes.
Basically,
Historian. Yeah, he's known over himself as an historian, philosopher, and the author of the bestsellers, as we discussed in this Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And co-founder of Sapienship, a multidisciplinary organization advocated for global responsibility, whose mission is to clarify the public conversation, support the quest for solutions, and focus attention on the most important challenges facing the world today. Now,
I just pulled up that website. Let me pull it up here and take a look at it. Oh, look at that. It's a thumbprint, isn't it?
thumbprint, or some people
Or a
just
snake?
depict this exactly. Serpentship,
Sapienship.
if you will.
World responsive
Or
to the most important collective challenges. Okay.
yes. Now, we are all aware that in order to create one world government, all aspects of industry and society will need to be destroyed in a sense. So the challenges they are facing, as you can see, is from technological, biological, science and nature, all those types of world entities that they need to focus on to be able to find their version of a global solution.
Wow.
Now, one of their targets is trying to figure out global war and stop it, which is interesting due to the fact he comes from parents who are in that particular field. As I explained to
I
you
saw
in
where it said
Wikipedia.
his mother was a. Oh, a second. His
She was
father
an
was
office
a
administrator.
state-employed armaments engineer.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he's basically, him and his father is creating the yin yang, the balance of good and evil when it comes to these things. His father built things to destroy. He's looking at creating things to build up. Okay. You know, God and Satan cannot coexist. And they're trying to create that. And this all pertains to what you and Dr. Joy discussed yesterday, as far as like what's going to happen with the monarch and the rise of the beast coming out of Rome. So, one of the things that really intrigued me about him, Yuval, is his name himself. Each part of his name, his first, his middle, and his last, all have significance and biblical reference, if you will. Laura's going ahead and pull that up for us. First off, we're going to look at his first name, Yuval. Now, Yuval is basically meaning brook. And his origin is based off Hebrew. Okay. Some people have translated it as stream, any type of body of water other than like an ocean or a lake. Now, Noah, we are very familiar with that term. Noah is in the Bible during the time of giants and Nephilim. God sent Noah to build a vessel to take one of each animal onto that vessel, and God was going to destroy all the corruption and evil in this world, including the abominations that was created from the fallen angels. Okay.
Did you?
So that is
not to interrupt you, but did you look at the extension of his name, Yuval? It says that in the Hebrew Bible, Yuval, also Yubal, Jubal, was the son of Lamech and Ada, the brother of Jubal and descendant of Cain.
Yes, I was going to go into that. But also notice is also the name of the first musician in the Bible.
The first musician in the Bible would be the angel of music would be Lucifer.
Exactly.
Wow. Nothing to see here, folks. Wrap it up.
I think we're done here for the night.
We think we're done enough. Wrap it up. Put it in a nice little bow. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. I'm going to head out. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And since we know what Noah is, Lori, I believe I sent you the translation of that word too.
I gotta find it. Hold on a second.
Okay. Because that is going to lead into his last name. When you put all of those together, you're going to notice something very interesting. And
wait a minute. Strong's Concordance for Harari.
Yep.
I don't see the.
Well, Noah is symbolic of dwelling or shelter, if you will. Okay, you don't have to find it.
Okay.
But you when you bring up the word Harari.
You want the Strong's?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Mountain dweller, descriptive of two of David's heroes. Now, if we put all those names together,
Yuval, Noah, Harari.
Yep. So what I mentioned to you in Facebook chat the other day is what I came up from based off of these findings, that well by the stream in the mountains.
Okay.
Now, when we notice mountains, it correlates to the Christians fleeing to the mountains at the end. It's also a perverted version of the time of Noah, where he was gathering everybody and people were denying him, chastising him, persecuting him until the rain started.
Interesting. Okay.
So just by that alone, he is going to play a major role in the upcoming world order, and he's also going to play a part in the beast system.
Wow.
Because he is the mouthpiece that's speaking in Klaus Schwab's ear. He was taught by the highest level of families in the world that is controlled by the
basically the Rothschilds have placed him. They've placed him in the position that he is to be next to Klaus Schwab. Because I mean, it doesn't really look like he has the credentials to be up, side by side with Schwab.
Right. He was actually groomed to be where he is today.
Wow.
Now, God chose his people to be able to lead people into the promised land. He chose somebody to shows people to preach. We all have our own calling according to the Most High. But we know Satan wants to be like the Most High.
Of course.
So what's one of the ways he wants to be like that is to be able to present a manipulative message stating that I've called you to do this. And since he doesn't believe in the Most High, as we're going to get into some of his quotes, he's the perfect person to receive the message of the devil himself.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot be neutral.
Right. If you're on the wall, you've already chosen.
Battle.
Yeah. If you're on the wall, you've already chosen the side that you're going to be on, and it's Satan owns the wall. Bottom line.
Right. You denied one side, you automatically choose the other.
Exactly.
And Satan is meticulously, with detail, trying to create a world under his image. And gentlemen, just such as Yuval nor Harari, is presenting himself as to be one of those cogs into that machine.
Huh. Does he have any association with oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm very tired tonight. What's his name? The Starlink guy.
Elon Musk?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any reference, but
God forbid if those
I would suggest that since he is one of the high class people, I believe they have crossed paths at least once.
God forbid if these two ever link up. Wow.
Yeah, pairing him with Ray Kurzweil, that's a recipe for destruction. And the sovereignty of our mind, if you will. Because this is a battle for your mind. Your mind is one of the most important parts of your body. I mean, that's where you receive and send messages from. And you got to keep guarded, and that's where the armor of God comes into play. Now, you went back, you talk about Yuval, being the son of Lamech and Ada. But we weren't looking from a biblical reference in Genesis 4, verses 20 and 21. Ada bare Jabal, who was the father of such and dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all such a handle of the harp and organ. So that confirms that name is associated with music. Okay. We know that Satan was the chief worshiping officer in God's kingdom at the time before he fell. So he knows how to use music to stimulate and manipulate the masses. But another part of his bio is he's a vegan. Okay. If we refer to Timothy chapter 4, verse 3, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having a conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidden to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So, and since he is a homosexual, that also bears truth to biblical reference as well. Daniel chapter 11, verse 37. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of woman, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. What does that sound like to you, Lori?
What do you mean? Does that sound like? It sounds exactly like what Satan's going to be doing.
Exactly.
I mean, he's trying to. Just the fact that he's saying that eventually humans are going to be gods solidifies his goal or his end game. Whew. This guy's been running underneath the radar for quite a while, hasn't he?
Yes. And we know the most important people are ran under the radar. Now, I would like to go into some of the quotes just to justify, our beliefs about Yuval and what he brings to the table.
I think his quotes will speak for themselves as far as why we've come to the conclusions we have.
Exactly. So if we go there, this is from bigthink.com. In regards to sapiens, the body of Homo sapiens had not evolved for such tasks. It was adapted to climbing apple trees and running after gazelles. not to clearing rocks and carrying water buckets. Human species, knees, necks, and arches pay the price. Study of ancient skeletons indicate that the transition to architecture brought about a plethora of ailments such as slip disc, arthritis, and hernias. Harari has serious misgivings about modern architecture. He alone, Jared Diamond, James C. Scott, Daniel Lieberman, and Colin Tudge have all been critical about the move from hunting and gathering to farming. While we can debate the validity of these arguments, city-states and eventually nations would not have bound together without food supplies that service the necessary scale. Agriculture has changed our physical movements for the worst. What do you think they're doing right now?
This is the reason why they're pushing us to plant-based foods and insects.
You will eat the bugs.
Ew! I ain't eating the bugs.
I have tried crickets at one point in time. They were sour cream and onion flavor. They're actually pretty good, but I don't want that to be part of my daily diet. Absolutely not.
Okay, if we're gonna come clean, okay, I have had an insect at one time, but it was the bottle of a tequila bottle, and I was in college.
Oh, Lori, we know where that's going. Let's keep this PG.
Okay, so I have consumed a bug or two or 10, but I know. I won't even. They have the new plant-based meats at it was Burger King. I was one of the restaurants. I think it was Burger King, and I was watching a review on it. And the guy said that he loved it. It tasted meaty, and it actually tasted better than the original Whopper. And I'm thinking, rats may taste like pumpkin too, but I'm not going to try them. No,
not at all. That's nothing but propaganda.
What does the Bible tell us? I mean, I know we're not supposed to eat shellfish. We're not supposed to eat bottom feeders. We're not supposed to. Isn't it that we're not supposed to eat anything that has an outside skeleton?
Yes.
So wouldn't that be like crickets and roaches?
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, those are all
lobster, crab,
shrimp. Okay.
It was a cloven hooves as well.
Right.
That includes swine, which I don't like because I love bacon. But it's hard to get past that part due to the fact that pork product in one shape or form is in pretty much every single food that we consume.
Wow.
The Islamists who base their religion on not eating pork, they don't know where they're eating most of the time, and 9 times out of 10 they're eating pork product.
Yeah.
You eating Jello made with gelatin. It's a pork product.
I know my husband, when we go to pick up food products, if we pick up halal, they've asked us if we had any pork or pork products in the trailer in the last 48 hours. If we picked up any alcohol in the last 48 hours. I mean, they're real strict.
Absolutely.
On that whole thing.
If you buy beef sausage thinking that it's kosher, the skin of the sausage is made with pork casing.
Doesn't not halal, but not kosher. Is halal and kosher? I'm sorry, guys, if I'm sound really dumb here right now, but I know that one of them, and I don't know if it's halal or kosher, is how the animal is slaughtered, which actually makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Because when you torture an animal or kill it violently, they release those endorphins into the meat, and we ingest those into ourselves. It's like adrenochrome. But the other way is when they humanely, slice the neck, drain out the blood, and the meat is more relaxed and doesn't have that hit of adrenaline. I'm not sure which that is. That halal or is that kosher?
Well, I believe that's kosher, because halal is it's manufactured using the equipment and machinery and utensils that have been cleaned according to Islamic law, and it's free from anything that Muslims deem prohibited according to Islamic law. So, kosher.
When they bless the food, they bless the kosher food.
Right.
So if we go and we pick up a truckload of kosher food, a rabbi comes out and blesses our trailer. Do you know that has an expiration date? We have to have that. I swear to God, we have to have that shipment to its destination within a certain amount of time, or the blessing wears off. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. Anyways, we're getting off topic, so
hey, that's fine. That's fine. Very interesting with that. So if we go back into some of his other quotes, you scroll down where it talks about monotheism.
There we go.
There it is, right there. Monotheism explains order, but is mystified by evil. Dualism explains evil, but is puzzled by order. There's one logical way of solving the riddle: to argue that there is a single omnipotent God who created the entire universe, and he's evil. But nobody in history has had the summit for such a belief.
What the crap?
And he continues on by saying, if you have a why to live, you can bear almost anyhow. A meaningful life can be extremely satisfying even in the midst of hardship, whereas a meaningless life is a terrible ordeal no matter how comfortable it is. Now, he just completely blasphemed and denied Christ in front of the people.
Yeah.
What does the Bible tell us about that?
Well, denying the Holy Spirit is the unforgivable sin, but I happen to believe that includes denying Christ himself, because the Bible says if you deny me, you deny the Father.
Yep, exactly. So he's not only an atheist, but he's also describing God as an evil being.
So he's Gnostic as well.
Exactly.
Gnosticism is the belief that the God of the Bible is evil.
He does not believe in any religion, but yet his philosophy is based off of more than one religion itself.
Now let's just get it clear for the audience. By religious affiliation, he would be he considers himself Buddhist, right? A Buddhist.
I would say somewhat, but he's more than just that.
So he's more.
Look at where his education institutions are from.
You can't say he's atheist because he does have some beliefs.
Right.
He's just all sorts of messed up.
Right. I mean, all the religion is fighting in his mind right now. I'm assuming he's going crazy because of it.
Wow. And that's not good for us, considering the position it holds. Okay.
And let me scroll down here. This is probably towards the bottom of the page. This is probably one of the biggest quotes that he presented to people. Never in history did a government know so much about what's going on in the world. Yet few empires have botched things up as clumsily as the contemporary United States. It's like a poker player who knows what cards his opponents hold, yet somehow still manages to lose round after round.
All right. Well, I got to agree with him on that.
Yes. But if you break apart those two sentences, he's predicting the downfall of the United States.
He's predicting we're going to lose.
Exactly.
The game's not even over yet, and he's predicting we're going to lose. Well, okay.
Yeah. He's a very interesting individual, and he has a way with words. So
He has
when
a-
you
he
read
has a
anything
way
from
with-
him,
He has a way with double speak.
exactly. On the surface, it's just vernacular. But if you analyze and study the quotes, break them apart, it has a much deeper meaning.
Elizabeth
See
says
that?
he's a hypocrite. Yeah, he is.
So
Absolutely.
this leads us to a very informative video that I gave to you, Lori, about some of Yuval's quotes and some of his beliefs, and it's going to present a shining light as far as where we're headed from here.
We're going to have this digital bill of rights. By whatever happened to for the people, by the people, of the people, I mean, that's totally out. But listen to this carefully and kind of catch what the intent is and how intrusive it is. Let's listen to this.
And COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. If we want to stop this epidemic, we need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin. What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. We now see mass surveillance systems established even in democratic countries, which previously rejected them. And we also see a change in the nature of surveillance. Previously, surveillance was mainly above the skin. Now it's going under the skin. Governments want to know not just where we go or who we meet. Above all, they want to know what is happening under our skin. What's our body temperature? What's our blood pressure? What is our medical condition? Now humans are developing even bigger powers than ever before. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life. Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
So hackable, people are hackable now. Tell us what that means. Tell us what the implication
I think we need to explain who this Mr. Yuval Harari is. He's an Israeli. He's a homosexual. I think, and he's the person that Klaus Schwab listens to more than anybody. He may be the most dangerous man on the planet. You've just heard him for a couple of minutes here. When he speaks, world leaders listen, including to the nonsense he just spoke there.
You think if you ever want to see what evil looks like, it's that dude. Okay? I mean, if you listen to this guy speak, man, this guy is full out evil, the things he's thinking about. But what he's really trying to do, they want to hack your brain so that they can tell you what to think and how to think. And when that last little clip that said that Jesus rose from the dead was fake news, he is such a God hater.
Yes,
he believes that any faith in God, the God above the clouds, he calls him, that any faith is just fictitious and fake news. So he wants to be able to hack the brain to eliminate people believing like that. He believes that's a false narrative. And so they have their narrative. And so with this digital currency, with this ability to hack people and put things under your skin and perhaps in your brain, they want to be able to control the thoughts of people. This is why it's so dangerous. And Elon Musk has talked about it and a few other people about putting chips in your brain and things like that. That's where they're going, guys. Now, I hope we're raptured before that. But for goodness sakes, that's pretty evil. Is basically they want to destroy belief.
That's right.
belief in the one true God. Now that's when you know, I would say that guy's probably satanically,
Absolutely.
demonically possessed, man, to say things like that. That is antichrist language. We blaspheme the God of heaven.
Keep your eye on this man wherever you can hear him. Listen to him.
Yeah.
And
Bad dude.
ponder what he's saying. It's very dark. It's very dark.
Recently, in an interview, he was talking about hacking us. And he said, we're going to have these implants so that you don't believe fake news. And and he went on, he says, all of us have this propensity, to different things, to think about politics this way or ethics this way. But we're going to make sure that when we do this, we'll be able to keep people from these things, anything that's fake news. So that resurrection statement, that's why we included that in the video clip, because he specifically says the resurrection of Jesus. We're going to keep people from believing the resurrection or anything about biblical morality.
Wow.
Wow.
That definitely defines him in a nutshell. And as he mentioned,
he says that the resurrection, Jesus raising from the dead, is fake news. He says that we are hackable creatures. He wants to put these sensors in. Now, last night, we talked a little bit about that with Joy, how they want to put these sensors into our brains and into our bodies, and essentially, as soon as we start getting sick, they'll know it. She said to the point where if we're diabetics and we go in and we want to buy something from the store, we'll be denied candy and stuff. They literally want to turn us into Stepford wives.
Right, Manchurian candidates, you can call them zombies, you can call them.
They want us to have zero emotion, zero belief factor, zero opinions, zero free will and free thinking. They want us to be the perfect slave of get up in the morning, take a shower, get dressed, eat your plant-based meal, go to work, make them money, come home, eat another plant-based meal, go to bed, and repeat tomorrow. Have no life, no recreation, no procreation. This is their life. This is their future for us.
Right, and it boggles my mind about how narcissistic they are to make those type of statements in the public eye. But we know that the masses are already too blind and too mind controlled to see through the smoke that they're trying to present to us, to see what they really are trying to do to us. And that is a scary thing. And the fact of the matter is that he has completely blasphemed and desecrated the name of the Most High. That goes to tell you something. And having those types of technology linked up with you through the Internet of Things, that is the breaking point of the mark of the beast technology. This is part of the beast system. This is a part of how they're able to control those who are still on this earth. Now, I'm not one to believe in the rapture, but I definitely believe a lot of us will be unalived, whether it's through famine, whether it's through pestilence, or whether it's from war. Those that are left, they will try to do anything they can to persuade you to accept their forms of technology so they can control you and completely block you from the Holy Ghost and having a relationship with the Most High.
And we know that they have access, or they have discovered that God gene. And we talked about this again last night. Is if they have the ability to turn off the genes that cause muscular dystrophy or Down syndrome or anything like that, then they have the ability to turn off the God gene, and your it's mind-boggling.
Right. And there's a video that's circulating around. It was a gentleman who was speaking at a conference, was talking about their technologies being created to stop believing in religious-based systems.
Yeah. Well. So Harari, he believes that any faith-based, if you believe in that make-believe man in the sky, that's fake news. And he even admitted that he wants to create these implants that will prevent us from believing fake news. Listen, guys, do you understand the ramifications of that? Because in mainstream media, alternative media like we are is considered fake news. But yet we speak the truth, we expose the lies, and we tell you the things that they're not going to tell you. So if they, wow, the implications of that are astronomical as far as we will not, don't get this wrong what I'm saying, but if this happens, our evolution, our technological evolution as far as what our brains can comprehend is going to be stifled. And I don't, that's kind of a bad word. I don't mean to see, I don't believe in evolution, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, we learn things. I mean, our brains are we know more stuff is packed in our brains now than they were in the 1800s. That's what I mean, and I think that within the next 100 years, our brains are going to be capable of doing even more things. And but if they stifle that, where does that leave humanity, Ernie? Would we lose our humanity? Would we lose our empathy, our sympathy, our capability of loving another human being?
Right. Now, Laura, you've gotten to know me very well over the past few years, and I can be very harsh. So what I'm going to say right now is very harsh. This type of technology, whether you choose to accept it, is going to erase your name off the Lamb's Book of Life. There's nowhere else to put it. You are completely gone from being in communion with the Most High. You take this stuff, now it will present itself as the official. So we don't know whether it's going to be the implant, tattoo, or anything like that. But it's this type of technology that's going to completely erase you off from the kingdom of God. Now, this is a warning. Listen to this man. It's going to lead to your downfall. Because this man is nothing but evil and is going to lead you to nothing but death twice. The first death will come before the time comes when you go down into the pit of hell filled with fire and brimstone. That will be your second death. So it is your choice to choose whether you want to be in alignment with the Most High God, who's looking for your soul to be with him for eternity, with no more pain, no more suffering, no more evil. Or you can choose to align yourself with men such as this character here and cement your place in hell for eternity. That is your choice.
It is. It is. I mean, but again, what if they take away our free will?
Well, the free will.
Let me rephrase this. Let me just ask this question of you, and I'm sorry for interrupting. Let me just ask this question, and I don't know if anybody can answer it. We know that the mark of the beast cannot be sneaked into anything. It cannot be taken against our will. It has to be willingly taken. But Ernie, where does it leave us if they take away our thought process to where we can't even choose what is good and what is evil, or what is right and what is wrong, or yes and no? And
well,
what does that do to our salvation? Are we that scares me.
Well, the thing is, we got to look back in biblical reference. Now, when we analyze the book of Revelations and when they talk about the mark, now you have to cognitively be able to accept it. You can't be influenced from any source. You can't be controlled to take it. So those who do not choose to take it will face persecution. They will be the ones that need to flee to the mountains. So God is going to protect his people like that. And that's what you need to get into your Bibles and become
There's two marks.
the son of God. Exactly.
There's two marks.
But
There's the mark of God, and then there's the mark of the beast. And you want to
Right.
have the mark of God because the mark of God is going to protect you, right?
Exactly. And he will also give you that wisdom to discern what is coming from God and what is coming from evil, especially during these times to come. So if you're not saved and have your soul washed by the blood of Jesus Christ, you're going to be convinced that this is for your benefit, that this is 100% safe and effective, and you're going to take it, and you'll completely be shut off from God's kingdom. Simple as that. Now, as far as like being forced to take anything like that, whether or not you're forced to, you have to have that free will to be able to choose cognitively. You can't have anything hindering you from making that decision logically. You have to know in your mind, you have to know in your heart that you're going to be taking that.
And this is why we tell people that they need to seriously get into the word, seriously build that foundation, that solidify that foundation, because that is the only thing that's going to stand between you and what is coming.
Exactly. And this is the Bible erases everything you have feared about. Because as long as you have that relationship, that covenant with the Most High, he will protect you as long as you endure to the end. Now, key word is on endure, because we're going to be facing some harsh times. And
Absolutely.
this man that we discussed tonight is a part of that. Everything he says is coming into fruition. The technology is already there. We're starting to see its fruits through our platforms that we're broadcasting from cameras on every city street, every store, and satellites in the sky.
And they make it so likable. I mean, I can remember. Do you remember your first cell phone?
Yeah.
Do you remember how it was bulky and didn't really do anything, and all you could do was call people. You couldn't really. I mean, you had the T9 text. I hated that. And that was your first phone. All you could really do was talk to people, text people. Then the next one came out, and it was
going back further was the car bag phone.
Yeah.
Remember, I worked in the industry for 17 years, so
I didn't want to go back to the brick phone, but you get the gist. So the next one came out, and now we can go on the internet. Can't really do too much else, but we can go on the internet. We can look at Google, and then and now I literally have the Library of Alexandria at my hands. I can. I've got GPS. I've got a computer, and I've got a phone, and I've got a navigation system, and everything else. And I can't. It's like you can't wait for the next generation of phones to come out, because they're gonna make our lives so much easier. And we want those things. I told this story a while ago when I was working for the Department of Education a few years back. In 2017 is when I stopped working for them. And I worked next to a girl, and she had bought a brand new crock pot. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but we were very excited because it worked by Wi-Fi, and she could turn it off and on from her desk to her home, like 40 miles away. And she came to work one day and she's like, okay, so I've got my roast in the crock pot. Okay, so she says, and I wasn't going to turn it on until I get here. She goes, now I won't know if it works until I get home, you know? So we roast sat there and we watched, you know, she turned it on and she checked it periodically through the day. She comes back the next day and she's like, oh my God, it worked. It's things like that like, that's crazy. I would love a crock pot like that. Or, you know, these new refrigerators that tell you you're low on milk, you have 2 eggs left, you only have a half a pound of butter left. I mean, it makes our lives so much easier. So when they they put these advancements to us, Ernie, do you remember when the last iPhone, the big iPhone was released? People were standing in line for like weeks, like camped out in front of Apple.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
The fact of the matter is, when used in its form that which they say they want it to be used, it can actually do a lot of good. It can benefit humanity so much. I mean, I've talked about this many times that I'm a lover of technology. I love tech. That was most of my life was in tech.
Yeah.
But we know that the enemy can disguise himself as an angel of light too. And we have to be very careful of that.
Right.
So when it's too far.
Right, exactly. Where do you draw the line? And to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to draw the line until we are literally robotic humanoids hooked up to the Internet of Things, and our every thought, movement, mistake is watched.
Right. And to come to think about it, we have surveillance tools in our pockets, in our purses, and it's like we can't get away from it anymore. They're creating that aura, that dome over us where we have to have it now. And getting away from it means you have no job, means you can't shop now. I mean, you've heard of Starbucks going cashless.
Right.
You got the rise of Bitcoin and other blockchain currencies, and it reminds me of what Yuval. It reminds me of what Yuval said.
The blockchain, they want to actually mine blockchain using human beings.
Exactly. And Yuval talked about how us merging with technology, we can become gods. And one thing that stuck out with me ever since I started my research on this gentleman is how he described his husband. He described his husband as the internet of all things.
That's creepy to me. That's very disturbing to me, because I understand what the Internet of Things is. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that people like Harari, his husband, or even I forgot his name again. Starlink guy.
Elon Musk.
Why do I keep his name keeps going on my head tonight? People like, do you think they already have these implants? Do you think they already are testing them, or they've already advanced them to enough where they're actually utilizing them?
Well, you know, Elon Musk tested it out on pigs, and it was very successful. So if they tested it out on pigs and it works, I guarantee you they tested it out on humans.
Oh yeah,
you just don't know about it yet.
Yeah, human being and pigs only. I mean, we have more DNA in common with pigs than any other animal.
Exactly. So
I think that we need, as a whole, as a Global Watchman News community, need to pay more attention to what the WEF is saying and putting out there, and the advancements that the UN is putting in place, because we're very close to the United States being turned over to the UN. And once that happens, then we don't have the protection of our Constitution anymore. And guys, we've talked about this before. If you've taken the carrot, the thing that we're not supposed to talk about, and it's changed your DNA structure, you are no longer considered a human being. You're not even covered under the rights of the Constitution. You are considered a product.
Consider a product of the federal government.
Uh-huh.
And that makes your sovereignty null and void.
Another question. With hooking everything up to the Internet of Things, now we talked about the line. We talked about Neom, the city they're building, the line. And you everybody's listening. You guys know our opinion on it. We feel that it is a prison state. They're building a prison to keep people in. Connecting the people to that city would be very easy through this nanotechnology, right?
Correct.
Oh boy.
You know, keep in mind from what we've researched that technology that's clouding up the veins from those who took the jibby jab, they're emitting signal.
Yeah.
And signals can be triangulated and tracked.
Yeah. And we are hackable.
Yes.
We've talked about that too. That's why Gil Bates is so interested in the jab, the jibby jab, is because of the fact that our DNA is completely a one binary code. It's a code. And it's not binary because there's letters in it, but it's a code. And any code, any computer code, not only can be destroyed through a virus, but it also can be overwritten and rewritten. Again,
Exactly.
taking away our humanity. What was Satan's what does Satan wanted to do straight from the Garden of Eden?
To convince us that we can become as gods, knowing the difference between good and evil.
And destroy us as human beings because we were made in God's image. What better way than to completely overwrite our DNA with the ramifications of this is just. And this guy is just slid right underneath the radar. I didn't even hear about him till 5-6 months ago, maybe not even that long.
Right. And just imagine the fact that Klaus Schwab trusts him more than any other human being. Look where Yuval comes from. Look who taught him.
Right. Exactly.
It all adds up.
Anything that's
Chris
got
Tucker said in Rush Hour, you got to follow the money, or follow the white man, if you will.
anything that's got the seal of approval from a Rothschilds or any one of the 13 Illuminati families, you got to go. Question it.
Yes.
I would say so. Patreon 2 says Harari is a false prophet. I don't see him as a prophet per se. Well,
he's more along the lines of part of the beast system.
Yes, he is definitely part of the beast system. I believe that. As is a lot of these elite, as is a lot of these high-ranking Luciferian positions that these people hold. I mean, what has him qualified to whisper? Well, never mind. I was going to say what has him qualified to whisper in the ear of Klaus Schwab, but then I've got to ask what qualifies Klaus Schwab to be in the position that he's in.
Right. And that's something we can speculate on, but we don't know for sure. We have a general understanding, because of who those people are associated with.
Yeah, I guess I would consider him a false prophet. Then I would, considering his philosophies, and he is putting out literature, and he is trying to, put his belief system onto a large populace. So I guess I would say he's a false prophet. Yeah, not the
Well,
false prophet, but a false prophet.
right, because the false prophet is, I believe wholeheartedly, is the papacy, because that's where everything is
Yes.
happening right
Yes.
now,
That's right.
and we know that the AC is going to be rising out of that
Very soon.
very, very soon. Now, with that said, based off what we've talked about yesterday and today, now we know these are distractions.
Oh yeah.
What is going on that we are being distracted from? And I'll leave that with homework for you in the chat.
There's so much. The last few days, a lot of people have come to me, or they left comments over on Facebook for my post, and they've said to me that that feeling of dread, that feeling of something's coming, is increasing. I just want to make people aware that we are 2 days away from 9/11. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. And I just realized it the other day. And 9/11 is going to be a full moon. And you know what these freakos do under full moons. So keep vigilant.
And on a Sunday too.
Yeah, and on Sunday.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. So, oh wow.
So we got the planetary alignment coming up here
23rd.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
We had the death of Queen Elizabeth. We have 9/11.
Yeah.
Strap yourself up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Watch out for false flags on Sunday. I agree, absolutely. Or in the day before, the day after, because it's still the time, or the window for the full moon. So
Earl had a great question. He asked, "What about the Benjamin Creme and the Maitreya?" It's all basically the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just his take on stuff coming out of, correct me if I'm wrong, Lori, Buddhist beliefs.
What's that?
The Maitreya coming out of Buddhist beliefs. Am I correct?
No, the Maitreya is, yes. Yeah, he's one of the fallen, one of the ascended masters.
Right, and
Yeah.
they're all demons.
Yeah, they're all the false. And you know what? Here's the thing: is when they roll out Project Bluebeam, depending on where you live, some people are going to see the Maitreya. Some people are going to see the false Jesus. It depends on, some are going to see the Hare Krishna. It just depends on the place that you live in the world, and
some may even see Luke Skywalker.
Yes,
no, that's the thing, right?
9/23, which is interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I've been seeing the September 23rd for a number of years. I think it started in 2017 when the Revelation 12, they were pushing that as 9/23. 9/23/17 also was a day that I took a personal tour of my local CERN. I live 30 minutes from Fermilab, and they had an open house on 9/23, which I thought was kind of interesting because the planetary alignments, and they were running experiments, and they wanted people there. It's almost like they wanted the energy of people to be on premises. It was very weird, very odd. But 9/23, and let me, guys, we've got a lot of new people in chat tonight, and I just want to take a minute to welcome you guys. We love to see new people. You guys are participating, and we love the participation. Make yourself at home. Introduce yourself. We're a big family here. We will definitely treat you as family. So let me
Just don't be a jerk.
please don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. Hold on a minute. Let me pull this up. And I apologize, guys. I know I sound really sleepy tonight. I got home from grocery shopping and I was in a lot of pain. So I took 2 Tylenol, and come to find out they were Tylenol PMs. So I'm like dying right now. So tired. So I apologize. I'm not normally like this. We got 4 or 5 new people in the chat room, and Lori sounds like she's drunk.
You're eating Kraft macaroni and cheese. Kraft cheese and macaroni.
It's the macar. Okay, so here we have here we have the planetary alignments. Okay, this is today's date, 9/10, or yeah, because of the time of this, but it's so let's go ahead. That's the 11th, 12th. Let's go to the 23rd, and there we have our planetary alignments: Neptune, Jupiter, Earth, Luna, Mercury, the Sun, and then make over here, all in alignment on the 23rd.
I know we've showed this quite a few times over the past month or so, but this is one of the most important things in our lifetimes right now.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on. Yep. It's exciting.
It is a very exciting time.
Don't be scared. I mean, this is exciting. That means we're going home soon.
Don't be scared. Exactly.
Only flesh wounds.
Walking off. Yeah, I'm telling you, awake. I'm literally, I've got my hand up, my hand is on my cheek, and I'm like trying to stay awake. And I'm so sorry, guys. But this whole topic is just blowing my mind, because when you guys brought this to me, I thought, okay, he's just another mouthpiece. But this guy's like these people, like the gentleman in the video we watched. This man's dangerous. This man's dangerous to not only humanity, but he's dangerous to those of us who have a faith-based belief system.
I think we're the most in danger because of people like him. Because the masses are already conditioned to not believe in God.
Right.
Like, he could be the catalyst that brings everything over the edge once he starts to have this prominence. But it's really interesting because we have somebody on the map who's going to rise up and declare himself as God. Do you notice the balance between good and evil? Left wing and right wing, all part of the same bird. So him, Klaus Schwab, and everybody else is going to be, quote unquote, exposed for the whole world to see. They're going to have their savior come up and punish those who have been a threat to humanity. But keep in mind, the enemy disguises himself as an angel of light. So therefore, he's going to be declaring himself as God. He's going to be sitting on that throne, and he is going to break that covenant with Israel. And he's going to wage war on the saints and overcome them. And he's going to force every man, woman, and child to take the mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And whosoever does not shall not be able to buy, sell, or trade.
Exactly.
Just keep an eye out, guys.
Well,
what you see is something that is truth, maybe
grab onto it.
Further from it than you think.
Yeah. This guy is, will AI create a useless class of people? I believe the opposite would be achieved. Because again, they would create a class of people who were just worker bees, who had no other goal but to, like I said, get up in the morning, eat your plant-based food product, go to work or go to school or whatever it is, go to work. Let them mine that Bitcoin from your actions, from your labor throughout the day, your job, and then come home, eat your other plant-based meal, and go to bed and repeat. I don't think that's a useless class of people. I think that's going to be a very useful class of people to the upper class.
Could be, but they don't want many people on this earth anymore.
No, they don't. That's why they won't. That's depopulation. I mean, we don't have the Georgia Guidestones anymore, but nonetheless, what was printed on there for however many years still stands. They still have the depopulation agenda. They still have 2030. They still have the will or the desire to whittle us down into a manageable 500 million people. Just because they destroyed the Georgia Guidestones doesn't mean they destroyed the plan or the dynamic behind it.
Yeah, that philosophy remains strong to this day. And World Economic Forum is the engine that's driving that. Now, this winter is going to be very troublesome for many, many people.
Yeah.
And
we've said
I pray for the people in Europe that's going to be experiencing energy shortages. And I pray for the people in California who's already going through that.
Yeah.
They're being told not to charge their Teslas, even though the government wants everything electric.
Makes no sense to me. Buy this, buy that, but don't do it. Don't use it. We can't afford you.
And Lori, I do pray for your state as well. Because your state's going to become the purge state here in January.
Do you see what's going on in my state?
Yes, I've seen that. That is very troubling.
I'm going to pull it up for you guys that don't know.
This is all part of their plan, guys. They want as much evil to come in this world to take over us and have us fight each other as much as possible. So they'll have that 500 million people so they can control them. Or at least so they think.
I'm going to put this up on the screen. This is what's going on in my state. Starting January 1st, 2023, an Illinois criminal justice reform law will do away with the cash bail system on January 1st, 2023, which means suspects charged, now get this, with certain felonies, including second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and arson will be released without bail. Approximately 400 criminal defendants will be released back into your community. Anyone sitting in jail right now with all these pending charges, they're going to be let out. The gates are going to be open, and they're going to be let out into the streets. This is part of a 611-page amendment to the House Bill 163, which is a massive police reform initiative introduced by Illinois legislator Black Caucus, and is the Pretrial Fairness Act, which would abolish cash bail. The aim of the legislation would set free certain criminal offenders without having to wait in jail for their court date because they can't afford bond. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the law in February, saying transforming the pretrial detention system so low-income people aren't thrown behind bars while only the wealthy walk free, diverting low-level drug crimes into substance treatment programs and reducing excessive stays in prison. Advocates for the abolishment of cash bail view it as a pillar of institutional racism within the criminal justice system. Why?
You know, Illinois has one of the strictest gun laws in the nation.
And I'll show you something in a minute about that. This would restrict which crimes a person can be arrested for and would free those in custody for 12 offenses, including second-degree murder, aggravated battery, arson without bail, as well as drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and threatening a public officer.
Not just a public officer, a public official.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, official. Hey Jackass is a website that I use keep track of the crime here in Chicago. And we have the tightest gun laws in the nation, guys. And we have the most homicides. From January, February, March, April, May 27th to September 6th, we've had 244 homicides. We had one, I don't know if it's in here, we had one weekend where 24 people were shot and nobody batted an eye. And yet 24 people get shot in a synagogue, or 24 people get shot in a Walmart, and it's considered a mass shooting. Here, it's just another weekend. How sad is that?
Because they got what they want in that state.
Yeah, exactly. And if what's going to prevent them from doing this all over the nation?
Well, the problem is there's
Harari. Go ahead.
The problem is with them trying to do that is the amount of people who conceal.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who has it.
Yeah.
So what I'm afraid of is if they're taking the law away from us, we're putting the law into our own hands and being street judges.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing with that is that's what they want. That is exactly what they want, Ernie, because that way they can blame the NRA and the gun owners and all this the right. They're going to blame the extreme right for protecting themselves and trying to take these criminals off the street. I'm going to tell you something. If you go into a Facebook group and you put in you put in statistics. I live in Chicago. I'm more than educated on the statistics in my state, especially in Chicago and surrounding areas. I live about 30 minutes outside of the city. If you go into a Facebook group and you put up a post and you quote statistics, or if you put up an article with a crime, and you draw the attention to the criminal, do you know that those people in that group will attack you for going after the criminal? As an example, I put up one about a person, a young man, who murdered his elderly neighbor, and I pointed out his crime to the people. They attacked me for not having compassion for the criminal because, well, maybe he's poor and maybe maybe he needed the money. No, not one person had any compassion or righteous anger for the fact that an elderly woman was murdered. That is how far society has declined.
That angers me to my core.
They will stand up for the criminal rather than condemn the crime because they want to stay politically correct.
I say screw that. I'd have flipped out. And you're going to defend somebody who committed a heinous act? Like you're just going to stand there and not do anything to make sure that us and our children are safe? Get out of here with that crap.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we really need to keep an eye on more so with the WEF because they have a Facebook, they have a YouTube channel, and they're having meetings all the time. World Economic Forum. Let me pull it up. They're live a lot. I mean, where is it?
It's not just a forum, guys. It's an ongoing discussion.
Yeah, right here. I mean, they're putting 14 hours ago talking about Pakistan. Experts explain what makes social movements succeed. The new economics of water, launch of a global commission, Davos. if these are something that we should be monitoring very closely.
I wouldn't subscribe to them to give them their props, but I definitely will view their videos.
Wow. I lost it. Here it is. Yeah, I did subscribe because I like to get the notifications for them, but I always forget that they're on, and usually I come in like halfway through. Absolutely, Randy. No fear. Absolutely. Yeah, water will be the new gold, I think.
Water has already been a new gold.
Yeah.
It's been gold for decades. And if we dig deeper into water, I mean, China is buying up all of our water reserves and lakes. We're shipping them off to them. So it's been like that for a very long time. And Nestle, which is one of the biggest manufacturers, owns tons.
Only the governments
Like
would take away our God-given right to something and sell it back to us.
Right. And it's illegal in many states to collect rainwater.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
So the water's already being controlled.
And now it's illegal to grow things, to have gardens. It's getting bad, guys. I think we need to keep an eye on WEF, the World Economic Forum. Keep an eye on Davos. Keep an eye on DARPA. Keep an eye on. I really think, and I know it's a distraction, but I really, really think that we need to keep an eye on what's going on over in the UK. And I do for my personal reasons, because I have a vested interest in William at the moment. Well, I have for a number of years. I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, I believe that Charles is an interim king. I don't believe that the people of the UK or their territories, I don't believe that he has the confidence of the people. I believe that too many people still have hard feelings about between Camilla and Diana. And I don't believe that, given his age and his health, I don't believe the people of the UK and the territories are going to spend the money to coronate him, because that's a big deal. It's a big pomp and circumstance. And I don't think they're going to want to spend that money to crown a king, okay, and redo their money system. When they have somebody that the people absolutely love, and that's William and Kate. Yes, Earl, I do believe after decades of research into the book of Daniel and into the lineage of the Miracovinian family and Charles, I do believe that he is the best candidate on this earth today to be the Antichrist.
That we know of.
Because
Great Britain is connected to the Vatican. I mean,
right.
Pope is in charge of the coronation of it too. So we're under the impression that the AC will rise out of Rome.
Exactly. Wow. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
I believe we have.
Yeah.
This is my first time, so
you did a fantastic job, and I want to thank you. Like I said, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm going to pay attention to the bottle I grab next time. Usually Tylenol PMs don't bother me like this. I have no idea why. It's just like knocked me on my butt tonight. But I'm not in pain.
Off the sauce.
I'm drinking water. I got ice water right here. I was chewing on ice. I was chewing on ice before we went live. Anyways, well, I want to thank everybody. We will be back on Sunday night. I do want to thank everybody in the live chat. Guys, you are fantastic. Please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. We go live several nights a week, and we also go live when we have breaking news, like we were yesterday. We were live when the Queen passed away. And so Sunday, There was somebody in our chat the other day that wanted to come on and talk to us about something, and I don't remember what it was. But I asked if he was available on Sunday. If you listen to this afterwards, guys, and you recognize that you wanted to come on and talk to us, and I can't remember what it was about. You wanted to come on and talk to us about something, and I asked if you were available on Sunday. See, I need to write things down. Did I write it down? I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
Maybe I need to write stuff down for you.
Yeah, maybe.
I can do that from now on.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us tonight. Ernie, you did a fantastic job with the presentation. I'm going to put all the links that we've used tonight in the description area below as soon as we're done with this. And I want to welcome everybody to join us on Sunday night. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be. I'm sure that it'll be something relative to the time that we're living in. Yeah. Ernie, final thoughts?
I'm pretty sure they're tired of me talking tonight, so just stay strapped up and put your armor of God on. Get into the Word and heavenly study and build that relationship up with the Most High. The foundation is built with the Lord at the head.
Very, very true. And we want to make sure that you guys know that we do not put out any of the information out there to instill the fear, any fear. Fear is not an emotion from God. So that is not something we want to do. We put the information out there for you to be better educated on the things that are coming and things that are happening. Like I said, I do put links in the description area below. There's always a bunch of links. Please do your own due diligence. Please do not believe anything we say. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. And remember, eyes open. Absolutely no fear. See you next time.